Anyone who watches these videos knows that I hate Donald Trump, and that has not changed. And yet I agree with him, and I think the Democrats should hop on a proposal that he has made immediately and turn it into legislation rather than an executive order. Today, Donald Trump signed an executive order that would fundamentally change the way the United States pays for Medicare Part B pharmaceuticals, which are some of the most expensive medications in the world, at least when the United States pays for them. They're drugs for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and cancer and stuff like that. So chemotherapy drugs, think that. Currently, those drugs are priced in the United States simply by the pharmaceutical company comes up with a price, they pull it out of their ass, and if we're going to use it, then Medicare has to pay that price. And in the United States, that could be $20,000, whereas since in Europe, they're all single purchaser systems, they negotiate directly with the pharmaceutical companies so they can get better prices. So that drug that costs $20,000 in the United States might cost $2,000 in Belgium. The Democratic proposal for changing this has always been to give Medicare more authority to directly negotiate with the pharmaceutical companies, which is not a bad idea and can lower prices, as it did when Joe Biden did this in the 2022 reconciliation bill for insulin and a few other drugs. And it worked wonders for people who are diabetics like me. But it also opens up a real weakness politically for any administration that does that. Because if Medicare directly negotiates with Pfizer about 500 Pfizer drugs and they can come to an agreement on 450 of them, but they can't on 50, on the remaining 50, those remaining 50 drugs get pulled from the market. And if in that group of 50 drugs was, say, our chemotherapy drug that costs $20,000 a month, then Betty Sue in Idaho, who's been receiving that drug for years and years and years, and it's kept her alive, suddenly can't get it come election time, and she dies, and Pfizer then cuts an ad where they speak to her husband and her kids, and they say, we're very, very sorry, we had a drug that could have saved her life, and she was getting it for years, but Biden wouldn't agree to a settlement, and so we had to pull it from the market. It's Biden's fault that she died. Trump's solution, the Republican solution, is different. It doesn't give Medicare more authority to negotiate with the pharmaceutical companies. It removes that authority altogether and simply says, you already did a deal with Belgium, we want the same deal. And if you gave them a deal for $2,000 a month, we get that too. And then Pfizer can't cut an ad against Donald Trump because he can cut one right back that says, it's not my fault, it's you greedy who are charging Americans $20,000 when you're letting somebody else buy it for $2,000. It's a brilliant plan. I hate the man, but we should sign on to it immediately. Love to you all, unless you're a fascist, and we'll talk soon.